Shalom, shalom. All praises going honor be unto Yahweh by Shem Abishai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutations to my fellow Akim that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. The confusion of face Akim that are joined unto our ranks. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To the hopefully elect. All right, to you I say shalom. This is World Alternative Media, and it's just, I find it just kind of ironic that they're showing fire because the world will be on fire soon. All cities, powers, and governments because of what is coming. And we're going to profile two videos from them. These two guys are, they're constantly making videos on current financial news that the mainstream media completely and totally ignores. So without any further ado, let's get into this video about the pension bubbles. All right, and I have to state this fact because I'm going to jump right to the 3-minute mark. But what they mentioned in the beginning, I'm just going to state it, is how that the deficit is at 28 billion, and that's almost every day that the deficit grows to 28 billion, and that's a group study from World Economic Forum that came up with this number. So it's so there's going to be no pension, no money left for people. All right, the baby boomers are draining the system. All right, and all the people that came after the baby boomers, you know, my generation. And the two generations after that, you know, they're hey, this is weird. You could just start calling this Generation Z, because you have the millennials and now you got Generation Y. Like, why you even had these little bastards, man? These children now are just gone. They're gone. All right, they don't. They think that everything that is wicked and crazy is normal. And how are you gonna correct that? You can't. But without any further ado, to stay on subject, let's go ahead and start the video.
Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here, WAM, John Sneisen, and we've talked so many times before about pensions and the fact that there's a massive shortfall. We've talked about...
This is not pensions. They're up and coming, you know, they have a massive, you know, huge population that are just growing at a rapid scale. So you're looking at, you know, 120 shortfall in 2050 for China, and then India is looking at about 85. Now, of course, the pension shortfall is something that's, you know, anybody that think that they're going to get a government pension or something that have been promised to them by the government are insane in the first place, because over time, you know, this was written back in the day when people were supposed to live very little, and then of course there was a lot of more people that were able to
so basically he just said that the government is not going to be able to fulfill its promises and what it said, man. All right, let's grab a quick scripture. This is Job 20 and verse 22. And in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So right as Esau is starting to sit down to prepare himself for his meal, man, the hand of the wicked, man, all the other nations of people are going to come upon them, man. All right. They're not going to be able to fulfill the plans that they had planned, man. Right as they think they've done it, if they think they figured out a solution, you know, for when there's peace and safety, for when they say peace and safety, certain destruction shall come. I believe that's Thessalonians 5 and 3, the first or second Thessalonians 5 and 3. But let's jump ahead to about the 6-minute mark. Because I watched this video, and it was a pretty good video, had pretty good information in it.
Problems, because what's going to happen when people say, well, that debt that the United States is not going to be able to pay. All those bonds that you hold in your pension funds, now you're going to,
That's why the hands of the wicked is going to be upon them. All right, people are sick and tired of America and its policies and how the allies of America get the short end of the stick when it comes to these things. Because Bush too, but Trump has made it beyond clear that America is about America and not about its allies at all, man. And so the allies are, it's like every man for himself, even though they're all supposed to be, in this beast system. Now, NATO is supposed to be together, but you can clearly see that NATO is falling apart.
Well, either they're going to default and then a real big, deep, or you're going to have 50 cent to 30 cent on the dollar that the pensioners are going to get.
Well, can you imagine the riots in the streets when everything starts collapsing?
Yes.
The amount of people, the vast majority of people are going to be impoverished, and that is going to end up with people being lynched. Unfortunately, that's the insane part. People are going to end up being lynched in the streets.
It's unfortunate for Esau.
Up to us, really, as individuals, because we are aware of this, spread that information so individuals can save for themselves, so we can...
But, people are not taking heed to that particular warning, man. This is Second Ezra's Second Ezra, let's read verses 16. I'm gonna start at 31. It said, even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them in the search of their houses with the sword, man, because people gonna be invading one another, man, looking for food, looking for water, looking for entertainment. Okay. And what's their entertainment gonna be? Sex. They're going to be raping women, raping men, raping children. All right, it's gonna be like what's that? Beyond the Thunderdome, man. It's gonna be like Mad Max, Fury Road, man. Utter madness in the streets. The earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. Right? It's gonna be like walking through towns. It's gonna be tumbleweeds, man. Places that were heavily populated are gonna start to be taken over by the foliage, man. Like when you watched the movie I Am Legend. Manhattan, you had growth. You had plants growing up out of the street, out of the concrete, right through cars, through trucks that were left there. Okay. Says the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of Yahweh. Okay, let's let it play a little bit more.
I guess make the problem as lesser as humanly possible as just 2 individuals in front of a video camera, because we want you to be able to overcome this huge struggle that is in the near future. And you mentioned people are living to older ages.
Well, he's right about that, but there's no overcoming what's going to come.
Years old to put us in this situation in the first place. This is why it's so important.
Who put us in this situation? He just made a complaint about the bankers, man. Esau Edom did. The so-called white man is responsible for this and no one else, period. His brethren, and no one else. They're the ones responsible for this. The bankers, the politicians. They were all in bed together, and they're the reason why you Edomites are living the way you're living. Not the so-called Negroes and Latinos taking your jobs and abusing the system. Their own policy, all right? Dealing treacherously with their own, all right? Stealing all the money at the top.
People understand this problem. John?
Well, it all comes down to the end game. And if people want to trust in this game, they're going to end up, having a living standard that they thought, they're going to be able to travel a little bit, maybe have that nice vacation home down somewhere. It's not going to happen. They're going to be at home, barely scratching by and barely surviving, barely being able to feed themselves a lot of times.
And then paying off their children's university debt to never get a job.
The American dream is dead.
It's just insane, Josh. And this is just going to take... this is just a bubble of epic proportions, this whole pension bubble.
That's why the opioid problem is out of control. And, these Edomites are turning into the opioids.
The reason why I call it an unfunded liability is because the government has promised that to people, but they don't have it. So they got to borrow a substantial amount of money now as the retirees are coming out and retiring, and they got to pay that old age pension. It's going to bankrupt any country around the world, just going down this path for a couple of years, the next 10 years. And of course, with all this happening, it's not, the whole currency system is falling apart as well on top.
Let's stop right there. Let's go to James 5:4. All right? Because who set up this currency system? The so-called white man did. All right? This is James 5:3. Salaki, it says, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be witness against you, and shall eat up your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. All right, it's a wrap, man. It's playing out. It's all playing out, and it's happening fast, and I wish it could happen faster, man, just to shut these scoffers up, man. All right. Coming up talking about some yes, dummy. You people are so stupid, man. You have a terminal disease which you're dying, but yet you're still proud, man. All right? And then just so you know, these guys are labeled just for giving out information. This is labeled as hate speech. So imagine what they say about someone like me, like the men of GMS, the apostles.
Censored by YouTube as the ADL comes in and flags all of our content as hate speech.
So, this is ridiculous, man. Where was the hatiness? Because they gave you factual truth and information about the financial system, how corrupt it is, and that you've been lied to, and that it's falling, but yet they're flagged as hate speech. So how much more when we bring out that the true identity of the so-called white man is Esau Edom, the cursed people of the Bible who destroyed the earth. The Lord said he's going to destroy them who destroy the earth. And we just bring out that history, which is so shocking to I guess, a lot of them. All right. Well, and whose fault is that? Just like this corrupt system which is falling. All right. Your forefathers lied to you and told you that you were the saints, you were the Israelites, you were the people of God, you were the Brits, you were the Scots, you were the... No, you've been lied to. You were the Romans and the Greeks, and that wasn't even your homeland. You took that over. So you just been lied to. You've been told that you were white, and you're not. You're red. You're the red pale people that came to be in Genesis. And it says red like a hairy garment, not hairy like a red garment. All right? Hairy had nothing to do with it. The garments were red, and they were comparing the skin color to this garment that was red and just happened to be hairy. Hairy wasn't a description. People need to learn how to read, man. All right, but let's click to another video that they did is with the auto bubble, because now we have an issue with that as well. All right. Okay, we got to suffer through this advertisement. Okay.
Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WHAM, John Snyson, and we have talked about auto loans and all these crazy problems before, and we especially talked about the auto-backed securities not that long ago, which are humorous to say the least if you don't take into consideration the vast insanity of the whole thing, and kind of brings us like into a blast from the past. It reminds us a little bit of the 2006, 2007 era, but looking at this article from Bloomberg Markets, it says Subprime new car buyers going missing from U.S. showrooms. Demand has been steady among shoppers with better credit. March sales pace may have slipped to the slowest in 7 months. And going into the article a little bit, it says rising interest rates and new vehicle prices are squeezed.
But they need those subprime buyers too. All right? See, Esau creates systems that destroy themselves. All right? And the fact that a subprime credit and buyer even exists is a corrupt system within itself. Okay? Because that was really used to help push Edomite superiority. But now it's starting to backfire on them. All right? Because it's destroying the very system that they've got to sit at the top of.
Shoppers with shaky credit and tight budgets out of the market. In the first 2 months of this year, sales were flat among the highest rated borrowers, while deliveries to those with subprime scores slumped 9%, according to J.D. Power. And John, just can you make some sense of this whole situation here?
Well, what's happening is subprime is under 620 in FICO score, which is your credit score. That, of course, in this great land, if you don't have a credit score.
Which is all bullshit. All right? This FICO score thing. Because according to the debt clock, every American citizen, including newborns, are what? Something like $70,000 in debt. You cannot be $70,000 in debt and have a FICO score that's over 600 points. You can't. It's impossible. So that's how you know that it's false and it's just playing favoritism. All right, because the majority of people that have a 700 score or better, or something that's way above 650, I believe, is what really actually makes you okay. Is majority Edomites here in America. They're the ones, the majority, and that's changing because of the lack of jobs. All these businesses that keep shutting down. Hence the reason why there's such an opioid and a drug problem among the Edomites here in America. Because why? The American dream is over. It's over. And the American nightmare is beginning. All right? And it's going to eventually lead to things like the movie The Purge. All right? Except it's not going to be for 12 hours. Once it starts, it's not going to stop.
Score you can't get anywhere almost in this land without it. So that's, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. It's not easy, is it?
So he's admitting that his credit is destroyed. The guy with the sports coat on. All right. He just admitted that his credit is destroyed. And now he's starting to live like and feel what it's like what Jake has been, what the majority of Jake has been living like all alone.
Not be on the grid.
Yeah, if you try to escape the credit system, if you try to escape dealing with the debt involved in a credit card, then you can't book hotel tickets, you can't book plane tickets, you have a hard time getting cell phone plans, you have a hard time renting, getting a car, anything like that. It just
So these Edomites are starting to feel what Jake has been feeling, man. And he's admitting that. He just basically let you know that has become him. All right?
builds up, and it's absolutely insane.
Well, so to come back to the article of the auto sales, of course, we talked.
And you see, this other Edomite tried to smooth it over, change the subject. Let's not make this personal. Let's get back on the auto thing.
Talked about this a lot before, Josh, where we talked about the actually auto sales with the creation of the auto-backed securities, where they take all these car loans off of the balance sheets of the banks and then hide them.
Wow.
And then create these, like they put all these in entities, and then in the entities they put them into the auto-backed security. So it's tranches, like of several different ones. And then, as we said before, they might put in a couple of good auto loans at the top to make it look really good for the pension funds to get them. And then, of course, it all comes down. Auto loans are, getting insane. I just recently had to buy a car because my wife wanted a new car, and our cars were starting to get bad. And that's how bad, like, these cars are quite newer cars, and they're starting to get bad at a very fast pace now. It's planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence. All right, and the same thing with cell phones, with different electronics. It's planned obsolescence, meaning they're planning for it to be obsolete. All right, for it to for it to fail and end up not working. The cars depreciate so fast and they don't last like they used to. All right, why? They're mainly made of plastic and different things of that nature, your products and your services. So it's even with cell phones, the upgrades that you constantly have to get just to go are actually viruses, and they slow down and destroy your phone. So when they make the new technology, you have to get the new one. You have to keep getting the new one, keep getting the new one, and that's what they do. All right, because your older technology, which was only a year or 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years old, it shouldn't be that old. It becomes obsolete. So now you need the new one, man, and which is all leading up to the chip. All right, all the above, the plant obsolescence and all these things, obsolenity. This is all the failed system. All of this is going to lead up to the chip and lead up to the destruction. Let's finish with a couple scriptures. This is 2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. All right. And why? Because they're gonna have checkpoints and things of that nature, man. You know, it's gonna be utter violence in the streets, shortages of food, as all this, and like the man said, there's gonna be people getting lynched in the street. You know, once this all comes tumbling down. All right. Couple last scriptures. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies and are physicians of no value. And the so-called white man, he's a physician of no value, man, because he creates these false systems which are just all lies, and they're all failing and coming, to fruition, man. That this is all just a lie. Last scripture. This is Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. All right. And Esau, you cannot go much further, man. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Shem Shai and Abba Babal.